Hey folks, before we get started, I want to remind you that I'll be heading over to Europe this spring. So if you're in or near these cities, come on out. I'll be in London, England on Monday, April 16th, Stockholm, Sweden on Thursday, April 19th, Oslo, Norway on Sunday, April 22nd, Amsterdam in the Netherlands on Monday, April 23rd, and Dublin, Ireland on Thursday, April 26th. Go to WTFpod.com and check out the tour page to get venue and ticket information. Yes, that is a limited tour. It is a few parts of the world tour. It is doing a few dates in countries I want to see, in cities I want to spend time with. So I'll do some comedy while I'm there because there's people there that have not seen me. Right? All over the world. The people that haven't seen me far outnumber the people that have seen me. So I'll be there.
Lock the gate!
All right, let's do this. How are you, what the fuckers, what the fuck buddies, what the fucking ears, what the fucksters, what's happening? I am Marc Maron. This is my podcast, WTF. Welcome to it. Full show today. Couple of guests. Two guests. We've got Cameron Esposito stopping in for a short chat. And then Macaulay Culkin is here. Macaulay Culkin, I don't know how that happened, but, Macaulay Culkin is Macaulay Culkin. And, when somebody says, Macaulay Culkin wants to come on the show, I'm like, what's that kid been up to? What's he doing? Where's he been? What does that life look like? Let's see if he'll talk about it. So I talked to Macaulay Culkin. I like to say his name, apparently. Cameron Esposito. Has got some stuff going on. I like her. I like her comedy. I like her. She was on my show. Maron, she's a friend of the show. Nice to have her back. What's happening? Where are we at? I apologize if you hear a slight machine noise in the back. I'll try to talk over it. I will try to do that for you. You see, there's shit going down here. There's stuff going on. There's a guy out there. He's blasting away at the exterior of my house, chipping away at the what do you call it? At the stucco. Gonna redo some stuff out there, get that painted up. Inside the house, the floors are done. New molding's happening. It's all painted and nice and white. And I do have that feeling like, what am I doing? Why am I going? What? But I'm still out here in the garage, and I did make the mistake of cutting my internet. I cut my cables so we could pull the cables out through the wall so we could do the work on the wall, thinking like, I don't need this anymore. Thinking that the cable had nothing to do with my internet, and then realizing on the way over here today that I get the internet from the cable company, and I cut it. I literally cut the cord, people. I can't Google. I can't tweet. I can't wiki. I can't do anything. I'm going old school. Got to make notes. I'm reading this off my phone. I'm reading the ad copy off my phone. I was surprised that I printed stuff off of my phone without the Wi-Fi. I learned new things right in time. Yeah, you can still function. I'm still connected. But so look, today is, what day is it? It's Monday. And the truth of the matter is, I don't know what happened yesterday because I'm recording this before I go to the SAG Awards. There's a couple things I want to tell you. I'm excited. I'm very grateful to be nominated by my fellow actors and actresses. And I don't know what my chances are. I certainly don't anticipate winning. I do want to tell everyone that I'm going to be wearing the exact same thing that I wore at the Critics' Choice Awards. So if there's anyone out there thinking that I would not do that or that wasn't the smart thing, if that's what you're focusing on, like why didn't Maron just not wear the vest with the suit? Because I'll tell you why. I spent a lot of money on that suit, and I'm going to wear every piece, and I'm going to wear the white shirt and the black tie. I don't want any fucking guff. That's what I'm wearing. It's not like anyone's making notes. It's not like I got to walk the red carpet and people are going to be like, why isn't Marc Maron wearing a different dress? That's the only way I would not wear the suit, actually, as if I was wearing a dress, and I'm just not that bold. I'm not that bold, folks. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. Maybe next year I'll wear a dress. So basically what I'm saying is that I don't know what went down yesterday because I'm recording this the day before yesterday. So I'll walk you through it when I come back on Thursday and tell you what happened. If everything works out, we'll all still be here Thursday. I'll still be here Thursday. Maybe I'll have a story to tell. We'll see. I don't want to keep going here too long because I do have a full show. And I don't know, the noise is kind of bothering me in the background. And also, maybe I'm going to have to rehook up that Wi-Fi. Is there a way now? Can I just go to Radio Shack and get the thing for the, I cut off the top of the coaxial cable, but I think I can just get the top of a coaxial cable at Radio Shack and then hook it back up through the window. Yeah, maybe I'll get on that. Maybe that's my job. I find myself focusing on mundane, kind of not repetitive things, but things that'll cataloging and fixing small things. Over at the new house, I went through all my 7-inch records, and I don't even play 7-inch records. I'm not sure where they all came from, but I decided it was time to go through them for an hour or so I don't think about the darkness. You know what I'm saying, folks? The darkness. A lot to be grateful for. Right alongside with a lot to be terrified of. We're sponsored today by Casper, a sleep brand that continues to revolutionize its line of products to create an exceptionally comfortable sleep experience one night at a time. I've been telling you about Casper for years, but now Casper has 3 different mattress models. The original Casper, the Wave, and the Essential. And while you'll be able to figure out which one is right for you, all the Casper mattresses are perfectly designed to soothe and cradle your natural geometry. Not to mention the breathable design helps you sleep cool and regulates your body temperature throughout the night. And yes, all the Casper mattresses are still delivered right to your door in the amazing Casper box. What's amazing about it? It has no business holding a mattress, that's what, but it does. And you get to pop that mattress out of there like a magic trick. It just breathes life into itself. I've gotten several Caspers at this point for my bedroom and then for guest rooms, and it's always a trip when the box arrives. There's free shipping and returns in the U.S. and Canada, and Casper always has a 100-night risk-free sleep on it trial. You get to try it out and see if you like it. And if not, you send it right back. Start sleeping ahead of the curve with Casper. Get $50 towards select mattresses by visiting Casper.com/WTF and using WTF at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. That's Casper.com/WTF. Offer code WTF for $50 off your mattress purchase. Okay? All right. Let's ease into Cameron Esposito now. She's got a new stand-up record. It's called Back to Back. It's a double album featuring a set from Cameron and her wife, Rhea Butcher. You can also check out her podcast, Query, with Cameron Esposito, and hear her on episode 575 of WTF. Get that on Howl or Stitcher Premium. And she's also featured extensively in our book, Waiting for the Punch, Words to Live By from the WTF podcast. And she's back here with me now in the garage. Please welcome. What am I doing? I'm setting it up like a television show. This is me and Cameron Esposito chatting here in the last days of the garage at the Cat Ranch. Did you buy a house?
Not yet. We're looking right now.
Do you have kids yet?
No.
Are you gonna?
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's like a real race right now, you know? I mean, you don't know. You have this has nothing to do with your life. But it's a real race because I'm trying to figure out, like...
Age-wise?
Well, just how stable do you have to... Oh, you know how our job is really...
Sure. Don't know if you're going to have any money?
There's just it just turns out ebbs and flows.
Sure.
And I don't know how you're supposed to make decisions that require stability.
It seems that a lot of people don't even consider it. They just have the kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those people probably are straight people who can just like magically accidentally make a kid. Not that all straight people...
It takes a little more effort.
Not that all straight people can, but when you are in the position where you have to plan it,
right,
then I think you get stressed out about trying to figure out the perfect time.
Yeah, because there seems to be many levels of planning. Like, where are we going to get the stuff? Who's going to carry it?
Or is that even how I'm going to do it?
Are we going to get an already made one?
Yeah, and because there's a lot of those, and they need, but that's expensive too.
Yeah.
And then also just like, who do you even ask? You know, there's the initial like, imagine if today you had to go find a child. It's like that episode we did. Yeah, it's really intense.
Yeah.
I'm in that zone. I'm in the zone of the episode of your television show.
So you guys are talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it for a couple years.
Uh-huh.
I think when you're a woman in your 30s, it's not even an option to not think about it because other people bring it up all the time. And then you have to think about it.
You got to make a decision.
you have to make a decision. And I know I want to have kids, but, there's also, think about the number of women that do our job that, like, just didn't have kids. It's because, like, your 30s is also...
Yeah, that's when you're doing your thing.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You're figuring it out.
Yeah.
You're going from, like, feature, working the road to whatever you're going to be. Whatever, like, like that 30 to 40 range is, like... the moment. It's your moment.
And like I talked to Segura yesterday, and he and Christina have a 2-year-old, and they're both on the road, and they alternate. Like they plan, I guess, if one's out, the other one's home, and that kind of deal.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I toured, Rhea and we went on a bus tour this fall, which was a big thing for us.
How many dates?
We did 17 in the bus, and we flew for 4 more, so we did like 21 altogether.
You rented a bus?
Yeah, to do 17 dates. Yeah.
Well, why'd you need a bus?
It was awesome. We did it so fast. Have you ever been in a bus?
Like a big bus, a tour bus?
Yeah, it was like a Rockstar tour bus.
Well, how many people were on your tour, on the show?
It was Rhea and I, and also our tour manager.
On the whole bus?
Yeah.
Oh, you just...
And we had a driver.
Did you record it?
Yeah, it's an album that was just #1 on iTunes for a couple.
Oh, this is your new album.
Yeah, that's called Back to Back. It's from that tour. So I felt like as a comic, I'm trying to figure out how to like transition into more of a, I don't know, an appointment. As opposed to, like, I don't play clubs anymore. I play theaters.
Right.
You play theaters.
Yeah.
You play bigger theaters than I do.
I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
Depends.
Yeah.
And so I'm, in that transitional moment too, which also is just like a different thing because you just don't know what's going to happen next. So even like if it was
this
that
is about
I would...
money. Is that what you're talking about?
I mean, it's money, but it's also like...
What's the worst that could happen? That people stop coming?
No, I'm trying to figure out, like, is this the time that I need to knuckle down and make all the shit happen?
Right.
Like, if I was just going out every weekend and playing a club in a static way, at least you can kind of plan around that. But, like, right now...
Right, when you do a theater tour, it's like, you got all these dates to knock out.
It's like nuts.
And then you got to build the next hour.
Yeah,
Feed the monster.
Yeah, I'm shooting for a whole... I'm trying to get real famous and big, Mark.
Yeah, I hear you.
Trying to get real big and famous.
How's that going?
I think it's going okay.
So is this, but it's just is it both of you on the record or just you?
We did this thing where the two of us perform together up top.
Right.
And then she does a half hour and then I do a half hour. So it's like 90 minutes, but split into 3 different sections.
And that's what's on the record?
That's what's on the record,
That's great. And how did that go? Did it work?
It was awesome.
Oh, great.
It really was. I think we're doing something that, we're doing something that doesn't really exist, which is like when we're on stage performing together, talking about both sides of a relationship, how much of our stuff is talking about a relationship, but we don't often get to hear like, the other person doesn't usually come out and be like, and actually go fuck yourself.
Right, their side of it.
So it's pretty cool.
No, that's great.
And I'm like into it. I think it's fun because also it just keeps stand-up not stale.
Yeah. And are you the straight man?
Actually, no.
Oh, really?
There really is I'm like the loon or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm like the dreamer, and then Rhea's the straight man, really. Yep.
That's great.
It's fun as fuck.
What happened to the CISO show? What happens to that thing? I talked to people who were like, I had someone on the show who had a show, a special coming, Brent Weinbach.
Yep.
Weinbach. He was like, I don't know if it's coming out. Like we were talking about, before it was supposed to happen, and the whole thing, what did it all go under? Is it still on or?
No, doesn't exist. Went away. There is no streaming platform currently that exists that's called CISO.
So how many episodes of your show were on there?
So we had a first season that now no longer exists anywhere, except I think the pilot might still be on YouTube, but I have to check because I think that came out too. 6 the first season, then we made an 8-episode second season that
never got posted.
It just doesn't exist anywhere. And we tried to, we don't own the thing.
Right.
We made the thing. It took 2 years of our lives. We don't own the thing. We can't put it anywhere. And then the people that are now involved with like trying to sell it or place it are not the executives that I would have known. It's like it's now back to kind of like the corporate overlords. It's like it has nothing to do with
people that own CISO.
which is NBC Universal. So it's like,
that's NBC.
it's like whoever is the
so now it's NBC
business
property.
development guy that works at NBC Universal that you and I would never meet because we're on the creative side.
Sure.
We would meet like the creative execs. Those people all have different jobs now. But
they own it.
They own it, and I don't know that it will ever go anywhere. So essentially it's kind of like I went to grad school and learned how to be a showrunner and learned how to make a show.
Yeah.
And the show doesn't exist.
Well, I mean, have you tried to buy it back?
Do you have a couple? How many millions of dollars can you spend on your?
Is it that much?
Yeah. I can't buy it back. I don't have that. Like, I'm trying to buy a kid.
I know. You know? But did you have your agent have these conversations of trying to?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is all
wrestle it away.
There are many people involved in this. Teams of people working for me and our production company, Comedy Bang Bang, and like there also isn't really like, I don't even know that there's a fault here. I mean, it's literally
it's just paperwork. It's just
exactly. That's the problem.
They don't want to do it. They don't care if they don't do anything with it.
Because it's gone to the stage of paperwork. So once something's in the stage of paperwork, it's just literally like, okay, so we can actually afford to just drop that amount of money in the trash. Right. That's what this made me realize is how much like mega conglomerate corporations, how much they actually have, that they can just be like, it's kind of more worth it to us to never put it anywhere.
Yeah, and why bother selling it? That's going to take more paperwork and manpower, and unless someone's really going to step up with some big bread.
And people did. I mean, we had a lot of interest. This has been a very weird experience.
Well, what do you mean? What happened? You had people. You guys sought out people.
There was like a What I did was I just posted our stats for the second season because we were really deliberate about our hiring. So we had an all-female writers' room for 2 seasons, and we had a 51% out queer cast. So the actors that were playing the roles were actually queer folks. Yeah. I believe it's the biggest. At the time, it was like the biggest cast of out queer actors to ever exist in a single season of television. I just posted some of that stuff. Yeah. And it kind of went viral, and like Vanity Fair wrote about it, and huge publications. And then because of that, we got some calls, but it just wasn't the right thing. Do
you take it personally?
I don't take it personally. That is actually my takeaway, is how impersonal it can be. Right. Because for me, that show was really personal. I worked on it with my wife, and it was based on our real relationship. Yeah. And the people that we worked with were so personal with us. It was really my first experience of like, oh, this is the stock market. Like, people invest in shows because they want that to pay off, because they want, whoever to advertise on the show. Like, this is...
Yeah, it's all about money. It's not about our little dreams.
Our little dreams are floating on the back of something much bigger.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're just, floating on the back. That's a nice way to put it. Or just completely shit out by something much bigger. Oh, yeah. They don't care.
And I think that part of that was...
It doesn't care. I shouldn't say they. It.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say, is that I don't actually think there's anything sinister involved here. Right. And I don't know if that... And that doesn't... It's not like I sleep well going, oh, it wasn't sinister. I go, oh, shit, it wasn't sinister. Well, then what does that mean about our industry? That if it can't even be personal enough to be sinister, would it be better if it was? I don't know.
Yeah, it's just stuck is the problem, the bigger problem, because it seems like there'd easily be an outlet for it. You just can't get it free. And that sucks because it's your work, but you sign away that right. And you just think it's going to, be okay, or you don't think it all the way through or whatever. You don't have a choice. So now something like this happens, and you're like, it's like party views being held hostage, not for sinister reasons, for bottom line reasons, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah.
And what you do is you go out on the road and you tour, and you actually meet people that watch the first season. That's what Rhea and I did. When we found out about this, we were going to go, the fall tour that we were supposed to go on was actually like a promotional tour, which was part of the reason for the bus. It was going to be wrapped.
Did they at least keep paying for the bus? Like
were you able to? I can't comment on that. No, we paid for the bus. Yeah. We paid for the bus because it was already, the dates were already tied to, you can travel faster in a bus than you can on a plane because you fly overnight.
Sure.
So like you get done with the show, you go to sleep,
right,
and then
right, you're at the next place.
You're at the next place the next morning. So we were kind of tied to it being on a bus, and so we just decided like, all right, well, if that's the case, then like
keep the bus.
Let's just let that be rad. You know, like let's just make a bunch of merch and toss it in the back of the bus and do this big thing. Like, let's do it up.
And you had fun.
It was our first time being on tour since the awfulness of our president. I don't know if you've been out lately.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It was incredible. People waited. We would have these huge meet and greets.
Yeah.
And people would wait for like an hour and a half to talk to us.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is just like
community.
Yeah. How important that is right now.
Yeah.
People just feeling like, oh my God, can I just shake somebody's hand? Is there anybody that will give me a hug? Like, you know, and it was really amazing.
And gratitude that you're speaking that truth, you know, or that representing, you know, it means a lot now.
Yeah, it was a lot of listening too. A lot of people wanted to talk about their stories, which is cool. I mean, it's cool. It also feels like way too much responsibility. Not in a, I'm not like, I wasn't shutting anybody down, but it is wild when you get to the point where people are talking to you about their personal lives.
Especially on a line.
Yes. Well, yeah. Well, number one, especially in a line. But also number two, because you're just like trying so hard to like be there for that person, but you just performed.
Oh yeah.
And your brain is not working.
Yeah. I see there's hundreds of pictures out of me with strangers looking exhausted. I can't, I always think I'm pulling it off, but when I look at, if I see something, a picture of me, someone tweets, I'm like, oh my God, I was like exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's important. You're right. Yeah. Community is important, and people feeling like, you know, represented and strong, and that, you know, because a lot of people are isolated. You know, they come out from wherever they are, whatever their family situation is, whatever little town they live in, and just to, you know, to hear their truth spoken or something they relate to, it's a big deal.
Especially queer folks who I think have had to spend the last year hearing, we've had to hear about our community from outsiders in a way that has really sucked over the last year. Either people that are on the far left being like, don't worry about it. I swear this won't be that bad for you. Like me, I can sit out voting in this election because my rights aren't really on the line, but your rights aren't on the line either. You know, like we had to hear that. And then we also had to hear people on the far right basically acting as if we only exist in large cities and are some like phenomenon of Los Angeles and West Hollywood specifically. And what I've learned traveling the country for the last 15 years is that we are in literally every state and in every city and in rural areas. And people are just trying to get by and not have their apartments taken away because their girlfriend moves in with them or whatever. Yeah. You know, they're just trying to literally pee in the bathroom that is at the truck stop or wherever the fuck they are. Right. And
it's scary.
It's just such a huge step backward in terms of the way my community's spoken about in the last year. Either people talking about it like, you already got marriage. Yeah, what else do you need?
Yeah, isn't that enough? Aren't you guys good now?
And it's like, well, black trans women are being like murdered on the street. So we would also like for that to not happen. If you wouldn't mind including that with marriage.
Stop killing us.
Yeah, if you could just like stop killing us.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
So what are you doing, you know, do you deal with this stuff on the podcast?
Oh yeah. Well, this is part of the reason I started this new podcast that's called Query. Yeah. Actually, I mean, I'll blow like a little smoke at you. Okay. You know, I think what this show did was allow people into in-group conversations between comics. You've heard that a million times. It's so cool for people to just be able to like hear two comics talk to each other without explaining the words, and like you go up and you look up.
Yeah, do a little homework if you have to.
Exactly. Like you figure out where this club is or what this booker is or whatever it is. That's like what caught fire about this was the idea that on a podcast there is no explanation. And I feel like that hasn't really existed for the queer community. So often, like when we're interviewed, the questions are like, so when did you come out? And then how did your parents take it? And going from when did you come out to how did your parents take it? It immediately erases the queer person in that story. Like, okay, when did you come out? How was that for you?
Uh-huh.
How had you felt prior to that? How were you treated as a kid?
Yeah.
What do you identify as? Mm-hmm. Like, I think those conversations, we haven't even had the chance to be asked. And it's because a lot of times, I mean, just by the numbers, straight people are doing the interviews. And so they're coming at it like, I identify with your parent. I'm a straight person. Right. I identify with your straight parent.
Right.
As opposed to, I'm a queer person. Just tell me about what your life is like on a daily basis.
Sure. Yeah. I guess I see that. It's difficult. I was having a conversation about this, about empathy, that sometimes empathy is difficult for people who have whose experience is completely different. Than the other person.
Yes. And I think empathy is also different from like in-group conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think that a lot of people have a lot of empathy.
But I think that's right. I think there's a lot of straight people that talk to queer people that, are not, they're not meaning to detach or erase.
Yeah, of course.
Their curiosity is limited to what their parameters of experience are.
100%.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I would say also, like something that I heard again and again on this last tour, a lot of people that come to see Rhea or I will say, this is the first time I've ever seen a stand-up show. Because I specifically haven't gone because I look a little unusual and I'm afraid of that thing where a comic will pick on me.
Right.
And, you and I know, first of all, that like not all comics stand up on stage and like point out the weirdos in the audience. But just the idea that like you're carrying that around with you.
Right.
That you would remove your access to art. And here on the comedy side of things, we assume like, oh, these are the great names and they're universally accepted as speaking to all people.
Yeah.
No, fuck, they're not. Yeah. There are people who don't go to those shows because they're scared to be in that audience.
Yeah.
And like, we don't shift our lens.
Right.
It is, I will say, Are you funny right now?
Pretty funny.
Are you? I'm like having a hard time being funny.
I'm pretty funny, but like I'm not being that specific.
Huh.
Like I'm reacting to things and then I'm kind of going away from them, in my process and then coming back. I'm not saying like, what about this problem? Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to sort of subvert it into a bigger conversation or something that isn't as like, if I'm going to say we're fucked, then I got to say what I do when I feel that way and where it takes me. And you know what I mean? Like I try to make it relatable as opposed to pontificate or be righteous about things.
Well, maybe that's the part that I'm having a hard time with, honestly.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Part.
It's tricky to make it funny.
It is tricky to make it funny. I feel pretty betrayed.
By?
Whatever it was. 80% of white voters or something. I feel pretty betrayed by like my own skin, by like whiteness right now and how fucking stupid whiteness is.
Mm-hmm.
How far we will apparently go to save it.
Was it really at risk to begin with? Yeah.
Well, Mark, some other people wanted to own like 3% of the 100% that white people have owned in this country. And so, as you know, that was a terrible idea. Yeah. And white people had to fight for it.
Yeah, it was too much. Too much to ask for.
Yeah, I don't know.
Racism's scary shit. And, it's hard to deliberate, where to come from. But ultimately, if you start with, breakfast.
Right.
And you kind of move out from there, where, just your own life. Like these struggles, like it's very easy, I think, sometimes to isolate things you want to talk about. But that's different than, how do I talk about this? And I'm not sure that part, asking that question publicly, is not a bad place to start. Like I'm struggling with how I talk about this because I feel this way. And there's a humility to that. And then like the humor that comes out of that is better than thinking you have it figured out or beating yourself up or saying, we're all bad. I don't know. I got away from that, because I couldn't handle the stridency of it.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I also have the benefit of, just me being on stage is inherently political. So if I talk about my personal life, it's already kind of creating space and rocking the boat.
But I think it's always better to come from there, don't you?
Well, yeah. And I guess what I'm saying is my view on it has always been that I share a lot about my personal life. There's tons that I don't share.
Right.
There are absolutely many things that are reserved for just me or for just me and my wife or for my, my family.
Yeah.
But I've always shared a lot of my personal life because I don't actually see that out there in the comedy world that much.
Yeah.
You talk so much about your personal life.
Yeah. It's boring.
No. But I just think the door that was opened by comics that were your peers.
Yeah.
And that are your peers.
Yeah.
Toward getting more and more personal. I still didn't see there aren't a ton of women and there aren't a ton of gay women.
That's right. Yeah. And also I think what I'm hearing you say is that it's challenging now when things are as scary and, seemingly a little hopeless to get to that, to get up there and be like, okay, I'm going to be funny for you now.
Also mad. That's actually what I'm really struggling with the most. It's working. It's, I had a great time on tour because I think people wanted to see that a little bit.
Of course.
But, also the thing that sucks about it or that's hard about it is when you're a woman and you yell.
Yeah.
That's a fucking problem. But when you're a woman right now and you're mad, the only thing you want to do is yell.
Yeah.
So it's real fucking catch-22.
Yeah.
I feel like...
You can yell. You're allowed to.
Thank you for the permission. I've been yelling for years. I'm not going to stop yelling. But Jesus, I can't believe I've never been this mad. I've never been this mad.
I don't think a lot of people have ever been this mad and this scared simultaneously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exhausting. I've got my own sort of persecution fantasies, but there's very real persecution going on policy-wise and culturally in a very real way for a lot of people that were making some progress.
That is interesting because comedy, stand-up specifically, is often a response to persecution, right? That's where it comes from.
Sure.
From our childhoods, feeling persecuted. And
alienated.
The glimmer of hope that I have is that since there are on a daily basis, there are so many real examples of persecution that people that fall in those communities will rise to the top in a way that we didn't before. I've had a pretty successful career. It's not like I'm for where I'm at. I'm not bummed. I'm just saying that I think it's great if what this leads. If black women get talk shows right now, that is great. That makes me happy.
Right. This week, more voices being heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah. Just on black women getting talk shows.
And I'm behind that 100%. Thanks for talking.
Yeah, Mark.
Okay. So that was me and Cameron Esposito chatting here in the garage. Coming up shortly is Macaulay Culkin. I'm sorry, this transition has been a bit difficult for me, and I know there's just a lot of commotion going on outside. There's a machine running, but this is not going to be how it's going to be. Just bear with me another week or two, another episode or two. I don't even know how much you can hear that noise, but I'm trying not to fester on it, but. Excuse me. We'll just keep moving. We'll keep moving on. We'll keep moving through. It's not going to be this way on Thursday. I don't even know how much you can hear it, but there's a little bit of chaos here at the house, folks. That's all I'm saying. But that was Cameron Esposito. You can get her recent stand-up record back to back. You can get that where you get your CDs and records. Also listen to Query with Cameron Esposito. And It was nice to see her. So, folks, listen, I know what happens by this point in January. You made some resolutions at the beginning of the year, but around this time, you start to slip. And then by February, you just give up. Well, here's a resolution you can actually keep all year. Add Stamps.com to your business and save a ton of time and money. Stamps.com brings all the amazing services of the U.S. Postal Service right to your computer. Simply create your Stamps.com account online in minutes, print official U.S. postage for any letter or package, any class of mail, and let your mail carrier pick it up. No leaving your home office, no more hassle. Stamps.com even sends you a digital scale that automatically calculates exact postage. And they have postage discounts that you can't get at the post office. Plus, it's a fraction of the cost of those super expensive postage meters. I've never had a postage meter, thankfully, and that's because I've always used Stamps.com. Pretty much from the start of this business, folks. And right now, you too can enjoy the Stamps.com service with a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus postage, and a digital scale. Go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in WTF. That's Stamps.com. Enter WTF at the top of the homepage. Woo! So, as I said earlier, when I got the opportunity to speak to Macaulay Culkin, I realized that he doesn't go out and speak much. We all know who Macaulay Culkin is, and he is one of those people that you kind of think to yourself, well, what's going on with that guy? Where's he been? What's he doing? How did life end up for Macaulay Culkin? Well, it ended up all right, and he's got a new podcast called Bunny Ears. You can get it wherever you get podcasts, and I went into it with an open mind, and it was nice to see him. So this is me talking to Macaulay Culkin. So what did you tell me to call you?
Mac.
Mac.
Yeah, it's one syllable. It's a
Mac.
lot easier. Yeah.
Is that how it goes? Mac? Have you been Mac the whole life?
Yep.
Mac?
Yep. It's kind of like both a nickname and my name, really. At this point. Yeah.
So what have you been doing? Where have you been living? What's going on? Do you live in New York? Do you live in Paris? Where do you live?
Yeah, I've been living in Paris and New York. I've been in New York a little bit more.
But what goes on in Paris? You just moved there out of nowhere?
Well, I was going there for a little while, and it was one of those things where people would. I thought nobody recognized me.
Yeah.
And what it was, no, we recognize you. We just don't care.
Oh, yeah. That's better. Is that better?
Where have you people been my whole life? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, I get all the benefits, and a lot less of the negatives.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have a nice, group of friends out there, and they always ask me, 2 questions.
Yeah.
When are you going to learn French, and when are you going to move out here?
Yeah.
And so during one of my trips, I said, when are you going to move out here? And I said, how's next week?
Yeah.
And so I just left my baggage there, went home, settled some affairs for a week, and I've been living in Paris for the last 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah. And my French is still terrible.
So when you still have your place in New York?
Yes, I do. Yeah. I bought in the 90s. So
that's great.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that you own a little property if the shit goes down.
It is my insurance policy. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can always I have money tied up in real estate.
So why Paris, man? I mean, what drew you?
Well, the food sucks, the wine's terrible, and the women are ugly. But otherwise,
right, sure.
I mean, of course, it's like I live well out there. Honestly, I've never shit better in my life. Out there,
Paris?
My bowels enjoy being out there.
Really?
Kind of thing. Oh yeah, no, you eat well.
Yeah.
Everything spoils in a day or two.
Because it's all so fresh and good.
Exactly.
I noticed that. Yeah, it's like everything feels local in a way.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you're eating real vegetables.
Well, it's a bakery.
Real cheeses.
Exactly. A boulangerie, a bakery out there can't call itself a boulangerie, a bakery, unless they bake their own baguettes from scratch.
So it's
every
food
single
thing.
day.
You went there for the food.
Well, I mean, it's like I said, it's a part of it. It's a part of it.
Did you have a romantic idea of what Paris was? I mean, or is there you don't speak French? So are you spending most of your time with expats or?
I do find a lot of expats at cafes and things like that. In the same way that if a French person was L.A.
Yeah.
and they hear someone speaking French two tables over, like their ears will just like ping.
Yeah. I'm gonna go talk to that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like invite them over to your table and offer them a glass of wine or some coffee or something like that. So I do find that.
But did you go? I guess what I'm trying to figure out is like, did you retire there?
I mean, I'm a 30-something retired person, pretty much. Yes, like exactly, like walking around with a baguette tucked under my arm, like and living the romantic life.
Right.
But also when I was going around Europe, I did one of those things where you go around for months and months and months.
Oh, you did that?
And yeah, for like a good half a year. And I didn't want to be that guy who came back and said Paris is great, blah 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 blah.
Right.
Paris is beautiful, and I became that guy.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't help it. Like I did really enjoy it. It worked to my sensibilities.
Sure.
They eat light breakfasts.
I know it's a food thing.
And then and so so that kind of lifestyle.
And what do you do during the day? Do you read a book? What do you do?
I write, I paint.
You paint?
I sleep, I drink. Yes, I paint. Yeah. I've shown.
Yeah?
And, And
abstract, figurative? What do you do?
A little more abstract-y kind of stuff, but also, I've been playing a lot with some real kind of still life or some figurative kind of charcoals and everything like that. After the last shootings out there in Paris, there was a curfew, so you couldn't leave your house kind of thing. And so all I did was just play with charcoals until I went insane. Because I normally don't leave my house, but the fact that I couldn't leave my house drove me insane.
Drove you to charcoal.
Drove me to charcoal, exactly.
Do you have a studio, or is your place big enough to...
Yeah, I have a space in my apartment kind of thing. Yeah, I made sure I had I got a 2-bedroom because I like kind of being, I love the Gertrude Stein of Paris, which is redundant.
Yeah.
I like hosting a lot of my I have friends in bands and things like that are always touring, so I like to host. I want to make sure I am that. But also, I have studio space. So, yeah.
And you got your canvases on the easel?
Yep, pretty much. Yep. That's exactly what it is. It looks really, really cute, and there's also just stains all over the floor and everything like that from the bottom of my feet. It's very romantical. It really is.
It sounds like you're doing the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm going there. I've been going there.
What are you writing in Paris?
I write all kinds of stuff. I write the book that I'm working on, my next book that I'm working on, is more of a series of short stories that's a little more clean.
Yeah.
My first book that I published is very, very more journaling, kind of very much a 20-year-old. It's very, very juvenile in that kind of way. Because I wrote it when I was 20.
Yeah.
So this one's going to be a little clean, but also I write a lot of just really weird, kooky kind of things. I wish I could show it to you so you can actually see it. Yeah, exactly. It's bits and pieces.
Like notebook, this might be a poem, it might be a saying, it might be an adage.
Exactly. It's very notebooky, kind of thing. But whatever.
That was the first book?
It was like that, and that's kind of I also work on that kind of stuff always. It's kind of just how I stylistically will kind of go, or at least when I'm kind of in my manic state and can't sleep.
Are you manic? Do you get that?
Yeah, I can go there.
Yeah?
Exactly. There's certain times where I'm just awake for 2 days or whatever.
Really?
And just certain kind of energy takes me over. But then next thing you know, I sleep for 3 days too.
But is it like a diagnosed thing? Do you take medicine for it, or you
No. I mean, my lifestyle affords me the opportunity to be that way. Let's put it that way.
So you don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
So what if you're up for a week?
Right.
As long as you don't hurt anybody or yourself.
Exactly.
But you don't get the downs with it?
No, it's not manic depressive or anything like that.
You just get mania?
Yeah, it's kind of just, I kind of get this, I can't sleep kind of thing, which is fine. I'm totally happy with that.
Yeah. So let's go back.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Wait. Why?
How'd you get here? Let's go back.
Let's go back to this morning.
You don't have a place here?
Not in L.A., no, not anymore. I did live out here for the better part of 8 years, though. Yeah.
When you were, a kid?
No. It was actually in my 20s when I was dating a lady that lived out here. So more and more of my stuff ended up out here, and then I had a key. And
which lady?
Just a lady. A lady.
Unknown lady?
Yeah. Just
not a famous lady?
A lady friend.
Yeah, you had a lady friend out here.
Yes, I had a lady friend out here. And so for nearly all my 20s, I was actually out here. But it was in West Hollywood, so it was very walkable.
Right.
So I still don't have a driver's license. I'm a New Yorker through and through.
Still. Well, the trains are good.
Yeah, but I was able to do, it was pre-Uber, so I had actually had every number for every single taxi company. Yeah, and I knew which neighborhoods they serviced.
Isn't that wild? You had to wait for a cab?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And it looked like a taxi.
Yeah. And were you, at that time, were you like living the life? Did you have a lot of friends out here?
Yeah, I mean, L.A., like any other place, is what you make it. Same thing with Paris, whatever.
Sure.
And so, yeah, if you surround yourself with the right kind of people and...
Yeah.
Did
you?
Yeah, I did. For the most part, with like one exception.
Who was that?
No, I'm not going there. No.
All right, man.
I know. Listen, I'm trying not to be too guarded with you.
Are you friends with your brother?
Yeah. My brothers. I'm third of 7.
But yeah, the actor.
Yeah, no, actually, Rory, my brother Rory is the youngest. He acts, and Kieran.
Kieran acts too, right? Yeah. Are they out here?
No, they're in New York. I'm the only person who's ever lived outside of New York City.
So you're all still in New York?
Yeah, we're a New York family kind of thing. I'm the adventurous one. I'm the one who will live out in Los Angeles or in Paris or whatever.
And they there's how many are there?
I'm third of 7. So my mother didn't have a family. She had a litter.
Yeah. Right. Is she still around?
Yeah, she is. She's married in Montana. She's a rancher's wife now. I just went to go visit her. She has chickens and horses and the whole works.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, she was from North Dakota originally, and so she kind of doubled back in in her kind of twilight years. Did she grow up
with ranchers?
Her father was a rancher, and some of her
seriously,
because she's like 11 of 13. Like she had like half the size family that she came from.
Really?
Yeah, barefoot and pregnant. That was kind of the philosophy.
When did she start having kids?
In 75, 76.
And who's the oldest?
My oldest is Shane. So they went with so there was Shane and Dakota. So they were like very Western kind of names, kind of. And then they went straight Irish for the rest of the names for a while. And Macaulay and Kieran, Christian Patrick Culkin,
And she's in Montana.
Yep.
Married to a rancher.
Married to a rancher. Mm-hmm.
And she never married your father.
Nope. No, they were never married. This is actually her first marriage.
And they had 7 kids?
Yep. And in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Stop.
In a 1-bedroom apartment on it was called Yorkville back then. Now it's called Spanish Harlem. And they stacked us on top of each other. It was a 4-room apartment for 9 people.
What the hell were they thinking?
That's exactly the phrasing I said to her. I said, "Mom, what the hell were you freaking thinking?"
And what'd she say?
She kind of just, I like kids. This is what I wanted. Like I said, there was a certain kind of barefoot pregnant kind of thing that I think she felt that's what a woman's kind of place was a little bit.
But 7?
I know. Believe me, she couldn't even afford 1. They couldn't even afford 1. Believe you me.
But until they turned you out.
Yeah, right. Indeed. No, they put us to freaking work fast. Yeah. I was just the third one that they tried to turn out.
This one's cute. Get him in front of the camera.
There you go.
Push him out under the spotlight.
This one can talk. So by the grace of God, go I.
So, but they were broke. But she didn't work? She didn't have she wasn't in New York for a reason?
No. My father pretty much plucked her off the side of a road.
Really?
Yeah. If you've driven on a road
in Dakota?
Yeah, in North Dakota. If you've driven on a road in North Dakota, chances are my family helped build it in one form or another. And so she was the stop slow chick with the sign.
Oh yeah.
And my father was driving cross country.
Come on,
and he was like 27, she was 17, and pretty much like plucked her off the side of the road.
Really?
Yeah. And she was pretty too. And she was a pretty, she was a PYT. Brought her back to New York, and she'd walk around Central Park barefoot. She'd pick the flowers, and everyone's like, "Don't pick the flowers." Like,
oh, really? So was this hippie time?
Yeah, hippy dippy. Yeah, this is like mid-70s.
Yeah. But your old man, what did he do?
He was an attempted actor, dancer, pretty much everything that I've done in my life.
Yeah.
He's
like, I failed, I'll make the kid do it, or what?
I mean, essentially, there was an element of that kind of thing. And I was actually an afterthought. It was my older brother that he was kind of just wanted him to be the dancer. Shane, he was the oldest.
Shane, what's he do now?
He floats.
Yeah.
He floats around.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It kind of just, he's floating.
How old is he?
He's 41. So yeah, we still, my mother has a kid in her 40s and a kid still in her 20s kind of thing. Like, yeah, we span from Gerald Ford to H.W. Bush. So this generation.
So Shane floats.
Yeah. So, but in general, wanted him to be the actor, dancer, things, and it was kind of just, well, just take Mac along. Let's see what happens kind of thing. And next thing you know, I'm booking like every gig. I get into school from Ecam Ballet like this.
Yeah.
So I was a professional ballet dancer for a couple of years.
As a kid? Well, yeah. I mean, what is there to do other than Swan Lake and the Nutcracker?
Nutcracker and things like that. Yeah, yeah. But, and also it was one of those things where...
I don't know if you know, there's no kids in Swan Lake, is there? No, it's just a Nutcracker.
So. I don't think so. It's pretty much just a Nutcracker.
You wait around a year.
Our season revolves around the Nutcracker, for sure. And, but I remember like showing up to my class because it was... The audition was just like, it was a breeze kind of thing. And then I show up and I go, no wonder it was a breeze. I'm the third boy and there's like 40 girls in there, which is a great ratio.
Sure.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Know? How old were you?
When I first got in, like 7, 8 kind of thing. Like, yeah, I did like the, 88, 89 seasons and things like that.
So, okay. So that's when that was your first showbiz gig. Doing the ballet?
No, actually, I did a lot of off-Broadway, too, before that kind of thing. I did some Gilbert and Sullivan kind of thing.
Like you were the little kid?
I was the little sailor boy on the HMS Pinafore. That was me, yeah. So I was actually just listening to it last night. I was introducing my girlfriend to Gilbert and Sullivan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And she'd never heard it before?
No. I mean, I mean, who has?
Right.
I mean, I'm sure most of your listeners are well-versed in Gilbert and Sullivan. Come on.
I don't know if I could name a bunch, but I know that they wrote a lot of musicals, right?
Yeah. HMS Pinafore, The Mikado, Yeoman of the Guard. No, I'm well-versed in those classics, at least.
You did a lot of musical theater.
Did a lot of that, and did also a lot of different off-Broadway stuff, and ensemble studio theater, like black box theater kind of things. Yeah.
So your old man knew the ropes in a way.
He'd been kicked around a little bit. He did some stuff when he was a kid, and again with the dancing and all kind of stuff, but also with the acting. He pretty much never made it beyond chorus on a Broadway kind of level. Mm-hmm. He was kind of just like guy number 3 kind of thing, and so he did that for a while, and then like maybe booked some off Broadway things, and then
dried up,
and then kind of dried up, and I think he had an incident, and then next thing you know, he's having a family.
He had an incident.
Okay, I might be telling this story wrong. So, doing King Lear, off Broadway.
Right.
He's playing Gloucester. Way off Broadway. He's playing Gloucester, and Gloucester gets his eyes poked out.
Yeah.
In the second act. And he wore a mask, which actually I grew up with. It's actually really scary, and it was kind of just a mask with like bloody eyes coming off of it.
Oh, yeah.
So, he is so into his part, he closes his eyes. And so he's doing the soliloquy, and he's getting closer and closer to the edge of the stage.
Yeah.
And he doesn't notice because he's so into the part, because he's blind. And then he spills into the first row.
Yeah.
And hurts himself. This is opening night.
Yeah.
And injures himself and can't do the rest of the run of the whole show. And apparently that was like the last acting gig he ever did, because it was quite embarrassing. And I remember actually talking to like a producer when I was doing some theater stuff, like, as an adult. And he goes, "That was your father?" And I go, "Yep." So it's kind of like, it's semi-notorious.
It's a myth. It's a myth. He's a myth exactly. It's infamous.
Oh yeah, no, a couple of,
the infamous blind fall.
Culkins have a couple of those like Broadway, off-Broadway kind of like stories.
Yeah.
Like, my brother Shane, he, in Spalding Gray's A Monster in a Box, at the end he talks about doing Our Town, and my brother Shane was in it, and he talks about the kid who vomited on stage. That's my brother Shane. Kieran did a show where where the other characters were smoking a joint, and he put real pot in it one day. So like it actually made the whole theater smell like pot.
Right.
And there's lots of those kind of like, wait, that was your brother? That was your father? That was your brother? Like, yep. No, we have a lot of notorious stories.
You're a theatrically a theater family that doesn't have a lot of success, but it has some dramatic incidents.
Yeah, apparently, exactly.
Other than you.
Yeah, exactly.
No, actually, your brother's gone on.
Kieran and Rory, they're
both too good.
And they hustle.
But I mean, as a kid, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kieran worked a good amount too. Like, Kieran's actually always kind of been working, and then he took a big long break, and now he's kind of getting back into it now that he's married.
Anyone have kids?
Kids got to earn,
Has he got kids?
No,
No one's
not
got
yet.
kids?
Yeah, exactly. 7, my mother has 7 like children, and none of them have, we have no, I have no nieces or nephews. And, I say like, "Mom, don't you think that he actually kind of messes up a little bit?"
Yeah.
We're very hesitant to pull the trigger.
Maybe. That's true. Yeah. Now, so let me let me understand now. Do you get along with your father still, or you don't?
No, I haven't spoken to him in
really
about a quarter of a century almost.
Oh, really? So that's the way that goes.
Yeah, it's the way it goes. It's the way it has to be.
Yeah. I understand that.
I was never tight with him to begin with, and so it's kind of just like my concept of a father almost is one of those things that you like get from like TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
Rather than actually having that affection for a father.
Sure. Yeah.
I was never tight with him.
Yeah, I got a difficult father, but not in the same way, I don't imagine. But like, let's go, like, when you started doing the movies and the TV, what was the first gigs that you had on film or on camera?
I started actually, like, I was very lucky. I started booking movies kind of right off the bat. Like, I didn't do a lot of commercials or anything like that. Like, not a lot of TV. You know, guest spot on The Equalizer. Remember that?
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was just movie. And then Billy Hopkins, who was a casting director, just like, he actually directed me in some of that black box theater kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He also did a lot of John Hughes like things. And so, yeah. Like,
he was a casting director?
Yeah. And then boom, Uncle Buck happens, and then, shit rolls downhill.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's good or bad?
Oh, no, it was fantastic. No, are you kidding me? Like, no, shit's fantastic.
Uncle Buck was the first movie, really?
No, I'd already done like 3 or 4 things before then.
Like what?
It was Rocket Gibraltar, See You in the Morning. I did a day on Born the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah?
But it was cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, boom, Uncle Buck. And then I just remember the final callbacks.
How old were you, man?
I was about 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Something like that. I just remember when I was auditioning with John Candy, I ended up going between his legs for some reason. Like, I was very, very physical, and it was kind of just like, there you go, kid. Like, so
yeah.
I was just a fearless kind of kid. Like, I didn't really have perspective, so
sure.
I kind of just did stuff.
But you had a sense of comedy.
I mean, sure. I mean, that's not something that you learn per se.
That's true,
especially at that age.
Right, but like I
understood time. I knew I like to make adults laugh.
Yeah, right. Well, that's good. You know, I mean, it served you well. So when you do these auditions, when you're working with, because I've been on sets where they have kids, and everyone's got to be
kids and animals. Yeah,
yeah, you got to be delicate. It's a sort of you got to be careful. And they've got to go to school at some point during the day.
3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're working with someone like John Candy, what are your memories of that guy?
He was always really sweet. He was really good with us. Yeah. Because it was me and another girl, Gabby Hoffman.
Who is now a big actress?
Yeah, exactly.
On Transparent?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's
she's great.
Yeah, she stuck to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you don't want to deal with freaking kids. Like, they are annoying. And, like, honestly, he had a very gentle touch with us and all that. Like, I think some of that was also developing a rapport with us because it needed to translate to screen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, now, compared to, like, other people that I'd worked with when I was a child, like, he was... He had a deft touch.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
And he's a good guy.
And he was a good dude. Like, he sincerely, like, I liked him, and he was always just like, he figured out, I think, something really early on with me back then was, ask me a question, and I'll start rattling off. And so, like, just let the kid prattle on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
that'll keep the kid entertained if you kind of just ask him questions.
Right.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like he was, like, pulling out a quarter behind my ear kind of thing.
He didn't need to entertain you.
Yeah, kind of like, what do you think of those Teamsters? Well, then,
and you just go. Yeah. So you're kind of a low-maintenance kid.
Yeah.
Get him talking.
Well, here's the thing is that they always kind of want, like, the kid, like, especially, like, the stuff they were asking me to do, very, very physical, very, very loud, very, very big and boisterous.
Yeah.
So they wanted me, like, practically hopped up on sugar, practically.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, when you don't want that, it's hard for the kid to wind down a little bit.
Right. Yeah. So you're always wound up.
Yeah. I mean, like, exactly that. But I mean, this is not like a Judy Garland kind of thing. They're not hopping me up with reds and blues and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't like that.
Just candy.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like, here's a Coca-Cola, kid. Now action.
Yeah. Now, who was on set with you? Usually your mom?
It was usually my father, actually.
Oh, yeah?
I was on the road with him a lot.
So he took charge.
Yes. No, he was definitely took the reins and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's not like I made like career decisions. Like it's not like I read the script and said like, oh yeah, I want to do this kind of thing.
Right.
It was kind of just like, oh, you're going to read this script,
right?
And like, are you going to do this script? Like, yeah, I didn't read Home Alone before I did it. I would do the scenes individually. I knew what the gist was.
Yeah,
yeah.
But
I knew what the arc was.
He decided.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I'm a schmucky kid. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like
I don't know. You did all right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess. Well, thank you. Yeah, but it was also learn your lines, hit your marks, find your light.
Who said that?
That was just kind of the way it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. But wait, like, how many movies you do with John Hughes? 3?
3.
Yeah.
It's after he died, I realized I'd actually done as many John Hughes movies as Molly Ringwald, technically. Because people associate Molly Ringwald with John Hughes, at least early John Hughes. And it's actually John
Pretty in
Candy.
Pink, The Breakfast Club, and what was the other one that she did?
Sweet 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or 16 Candles. There you go.
16 Candles, yeah.
But actually, it was John Candy. He was the one. He did 9 movies with him. Yeah, but yeah, I did 3. Yeah.
And what was your impression of him?
He was fantastic. He was soft and sweet. He was again good with me.
Yeah.
But also had like just a soft and sweetness to him.
Yeah.
And actually cared. Actually like gave a crap. Would actually ask me how I was doing. And when I got older, like he would actually ask me. He would talk to me like an adult, and other people didn't do that to me. So I hold him in very, very high regard. Look, yeah.
And he was. It seemed like he was a very. Well, he definitely understood the mind of kids through adolescence. The arc of that.
And then he started moving backwards. Like, then he started doing a lot of kids movies.
Yeah.
Because he wrote the Beethoven movies. People don't realize that he wrote like Baby's Day Out.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. No, he wrote he actually wrote or at least he pitched, and it was his pitch was Made in Manhattan and Drill Bit Taylor. Remember those?
Drill Bit Taylor, that was the Adam Sandler project?
No, that's Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Where they hire a bodyguard.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They made that movie.
No, exactly. No, that's what I mean. People don't realize that those are actually technically John Hughes movies. That,
right.
That they were those are old pitches of his.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No.
So which ones, but he only directed you in 2?
No, directed me in Uncle Buck, and that was virtually it. That was pretty much it.
And he wrote Home Alone?
Oh, yeah. He wrote both the Home Alone movies. Exactly. Yeah.
But he was around?
Of course. He would pop in, but also it was that writer kind of thing. And he did hand the reins over to Chris Columbus. And the thing is, he wrote Home Alone specifically for me.
Yeah.
After Uncle Buck kind of thing. It was that thing of the kid looking through like the little mail slot, protecting his home.
Yeah.
And he was like, and so he literally spent a weekend and wrote Home Alone for me. And he gave it to Chris Columbus. So Chris Columbus wasn't going to like just give me the part just on his say so.
Yeah.
And so like, I
had to work for it.
Yeah. I had to hustle, but it was also the last audition I did in a long, long time too.
How was Daniel Stern?
Always sweet. Again, what you have to remember is that I'm not really in a lot of scenes with those guys.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's almost my buddy brought it up the other day. He goes, it's kind of it's closer to Castaway.
Yeah,
in a certain extent, where it's like, no, I do a lot of scenes by myself, talking to myself, and all that.
Yeah,
I'm really just in like I can probably count on definitely on one hand, but probably on like 2 or 3 fingers how many scenes I were.
Because they just shot that other side later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is going on over here. That's going on over there, and then finally it all happens. At the end. Even when they're crawling, like across the rope or things like that, or like the tarantula kind of like things like that's all. That's all like not in the same room. Also, because I can only work X amount of hours a day too.
So they had to figure out how to be economical about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't get to really hang out with like Catherine O'Hara or Pesci or any.
Not really, because I'm not working with them. Like what I mean. Even though we're in the same movie, I'm not working with them.
It's so sad to know how the fucking sausage is made sometimes.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, that's why theater is sort of beautiful.
Yeah. Because it's intertwined no matter what.
Yeah, and it's in real time, and it's not a bunch of takes. It's not so weirdly kind of workmanlike. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, we got that coverage. Now we're gonna go in closer.
Exactly. It's not as savage. Well, it's the they say, what is it? TV is the writer's forum.
Yeah.
Because I was actually surprised when I've done some TV where it's like after every take, all the writers get together with you and direct you.
Well, try like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then movie, film is a director's forum.
Yeah.
Essentially, it doesn't matter like even what you do. Like he's going to use whatever take he wants.
That's right.
And theater is the actor's forum.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what's written on the page. It doesn't matter what the director tells you to do. You can get up there and do whatever you want.
You can fuck up the show on your own.
Exactly.
You can close your eyes and fall off the front of the stage during Lear.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's up to you.
And get all Gloucester on it. Okay. But no, it's So I've always enjoyed theater. Theater is actually my favorite form.
When you think back, when you look back on, if you want to smoke, you can smoke in here.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, you can pull that shit out of there.
Look at you. You are a delight, sir.
But what do you remember about that time? Like, because it was pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like now, like, because I don't know, like, I imagine whatever, we can move through whatever, went down between you and your old man. But I imagine that, he was probably living it up and you were living it up as much as a 9-year-old could. But I mean, what did it look like for you out here?
Well, the thing is, actually, money didn't really start rolling in until, like, after that kind of thing. It's not like I got paid, like, a truckload, for Home Alone.
But not until the second one, maybe?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. That's when, that's,
Because you had some back end on that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We were still living in that 1-bedroom apartment with 9 people. Like, after Home Alone came out? Yeah. It took us a minute, like, to get all that kind of stuff, going and out there. And here's the way I'll put it, is that I didn't know any other life. So this is the way it works. Yeah. This is the hero's journey, essentially, Yeah. It's, you start working little black box theaters, and then you start booking small movies, then you do big movies, and then you're a big fat superstar, and that's the way it works.
At 10.
Well, you don't know, but you have no perspective.
No, I know, but you're right. But that is sort of the way it works at any age.
Yeah.
But I mean, oddly.
Yeah.
You were able to get some theater chops in.
Yeah, exactly. You get some ballet chops in and some black box theater in there.
Yeah, that you really paid your dues.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, believe you me. Exactly. I mean, because I was on the circuit. Thankfully, I got off the circuit for a while. But doing those 9 auditions a day in the dead of summer kind of thing.
Oh, you mean after Home Alone?
No, before. I mean, I did like that. So, I mean, hustled. I hustled for my dinner. Let's put it that way.
But was your father running all you guys?
Just me and Kieran were booking a lot.
Yeah, and Rory too, but he was young.
Yeah, he was young, but also he played young me in a zillion movies because actually he looks a lot like me. So pretty much every picture of young me or any kind of thing it's Rory.
He built a career out of being young you.
Yep, exactly. But now that kid is always working. It's hilarious. I'll reach out to him and kind of I'm in Hungary right now doing he's doing just a zillion indies. The dude is
How old is he now?
He is what 28, 28, 28, 29.
Wow.
Yeah, no, and like I said, he hustles. He actually, he's always in perpetual motion. He's actually never stopped ever since he hit his, his teens. He's always doing something. He was, he was in, spoiler alert, he was the, killer in Scream 4. That kind of thing. Really? You know what I mean? He's doing stuff.
Do whatever.
Exactly. He'll do it. He hustles for his dinner.
He likes to work.
Yeah, exactly. He likes to work. He enjoys the business. It was, him and my, old brother that was a little bit older than him, they would be on the set of Home Alone 2, and, Chris, the one who's a little older, would go, "There's the burglars." And Roy go, "Oh, there's Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern."
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Even though he was younger,
like,
he actually, he got it.
Well, what does Chris do?
He is, floating around. He writes a lot. He was writing for a magazine. He got, he majored in journalism and all that stuff. And he just went back to school for film and all that stuff. So he's still in school.
Are any of the Culkin kids just doing a regular job, a 9-to-5?
Oh yeah. No, my sister is a chef. Okay. She went to the French Culinary Institute. And making that happen kind of thing. And
is she at a restaurant now?
Yeah. She's doing her thing.
And you guys get together all together every.
Every once in a while, we try to make that happen. I've been away for a lot of these holidays, recently, this holiday I'm spending it with my girlfriend, and things like that.
Yeah.
But we make it happen. We have game nights and things like that.
So your old man's running 3.
Pretty much,
and just schlepping you to auditions.
Running me into the ground.
Yeah, and when did you sort of what was the socialization? Because when you hear Drew Barrymore talk or any other child actors who went on to exist in the business, there seemed to be a strange world for them, if they weren't protected properly. Did you find that?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the balance between being protected properly and being overly protected. Because otherwise, you have no social skills. And so after I did Richie Rich, in 93 or 94 or something like that, my father and my mother finally, called it quits, which was one of the best things that ever happened. I was able to actually walk away from the business. I've been wanting to take a break for a while, and eventually, like I just was like, I'm done, guys. Like, I hope you all made your money because there's no more coming from me, and it's
really. Yeah. So now, but like, I guess
I quit for like 8 years. I mean,
yeah. More specifically, like when you're out here, like how do you end up having a relationship with Michael Jackson?
Oh, that was we'd actually met when I was actually doing the Nutcracker on Lincoln Center.
Really?
Yeah. He came backstage before the show, and of course, like everyone's, like
he loved the Nutcracker.
Yeah, I mean, he loved dance, like man, like he was a dance man. Like,
he's a dancer. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Doug, that actually, funny enough, he actually came backstage with Donald Trump because they were friendly back then.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Pre-presidential. I mean, I'm talking like 1988.
And how old are you? You're like 8?
Yeah, like 8. Yeah. And we met, and that's the thing is that like I would do Uncle Buck or whatever, and then I'd race back to New York to do my ballet stuff.
That's your once a year gig.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, And so, but I remember he looked at me and he was like, I know you from somewhere. I was like, yeah. I said, I also do movies also, kind of thing. And he was like, and then I think he finally found it. He's like, oh, Uncle Buck. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. He goes, yeah, you're funny. I'm like, oh, thanks. And that was about it.
And what did Trump say? Anything?
Gosh, it wasn't memorable. And then after Home Alone came out, he reached out to like me and like my family, kind of just listen. There's no like child actor self-help group or anything like that. You know what I mean? You kind of sometimes you reach out to certain kids if you want to make sure they're all right. Yeah, kind of thing. Like, believe you me, I've extended the same kind of before. Like nothing like like too crazy. But he was like, yeah, like do you want to hang out? I know things are weird. Yeah. So come over to my house, like kind of thing. And so so I went with my whole family, and next thing you know, we were friends. We were like. Seriously, he was like my best friend growing up for like a good fat stretch of my life. Yeah. Like it was legitimate friendship.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you think what was it? He was emotionally young.
Yeah, he was. Well, it was also he enjoyed like kind of just at least I can speak for myself. At least he enjoyed my youthfulness, kind of thing. You know, yeah. And of course, he was a kid himself. He kind of like he liked being a kid, like with me, like like and my brother, and like but it was.
But yet he was like what 20 years older.
Yeah, that seems about right. Yeah, something like that. But like he never really like I mean you can get all kind of like do all the psychology on it kind of thing. It's like, oh, he never had his childhood. This
right.
All I can speak to really is, like the way he was, and despite whatever the reasoning was, kind of thing. Yeah. But no, he liked being around kids,
and it wasn't odd.
No,
to you,
it was honestly, it never struck me as odd. I never felt uncomfortable or anything like that. I never thought it was weird because it was actually like that was the way that he was. It was like, down to his bone marrow kind of thing. That. So it wasn't.
So you never thought it. So it didn't come off as creepy because you bought it because it was authentic.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't buy it. It just was. Okay. You know what I mean? He wasn't selling. You know what I mean? Like, it was just that.
I know you do want, there's some part of you that wants to, or me, when you think about what you've heard in that situation, just in general, to make it,
untoward.
Yeah. No. But that was not your experience.
That was not my experience at all, kind of thing. Like, and it was, it was the fact that, like, my mind didn't go there. That was one of the reasons why he liked hanging around a guy like me. Yeah. That kind of thing. Like, it was just like, like, it never felt weird. Right. It was just the way that it was.
Yeah, and it was.
I looked at him for who he was, rather because listen, at that point, like I was pretty famous, I guess, and I'd met plenty of famous people. Like his fame did not like make a thing.
But
like, but he so I was not enamored by him. I
get it.
It was kind of just like, we're right. We can be friends.
But you're up there at the theme park or the house.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other kids around.
Sometimes kind of thing. But it's usually like family of staff kind of thing. Like, like kind of just like, oh, they'll have like a day.
Did he strike you as lonely and sad? And like, did you ever get a read on?
As I got older, there was a little bit of that. Definitely, like, yeah. But when I was younger, like, it was kind of just, you're 9-10 years old. You don't really read things in that kind of way.
Yeah. Not unless it's dramatic.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't sulking. Like, you know, I think it was like, if anything, you know, if he was that way, when I hang out with him, like, it was a respite.
Yeah.
From that kind of loneliness.
Were you in touch with him up until the end?
Yeah, I hadn't spoken to him in a while because he was like bouncing all over the place. Like, you know, he was, I think, in Dubai for a while. Like, you know, and then he was doing his, you know, like he just didn't want to go back home. He never went back to Santa Barbara again, kind of thing. Like, because it just, I don't know, everything in his life felt tainted, you know, except for like his immediate, because that was what happened, like with that last trial.
Yeah.
You know, everything was tainted.
Right.
So that's why kind of just trying to start over a little bit, like, you know, and the only thing that really like was important to him was his immediate family, his children and stuff. And
are you friends with them?
Yeah. I'm the godfather, but I'm close with Paris. Yeah. I'm kind of, I'm going to warn you now, I'm very protective of her. So,
yeah,
just like, I'm a very open book when it comes to things, but like with her, it's like, no, she is beloved by me. And I'm like, I'm, you know,
I'm not looking for any dirt.
I know you're not. And I'm just like, I know you're not. And I'm just letting you know, like, but if we want to start going down that road, like, it's going to be a dead end, you know, but I mean that in the fact that like, I love her so much.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And she's doing all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, she's tall and beautiful and smart. Like, yeah, it's great.
Okay. So how old were you when you did SNL? You hosted SNL, right?
Yeah, I was, I think I just turned 11. I was promoting My Girl.
Oh, really? 11 years old.
Yep.
Who was on the cast? What kind of debauchery was going on?
I was just about to say this was the almost ideal cast because Carvey's last season.
Yeah.
Hartman was still there.
Yeah.
You know, Nealon was still there.
Yeah.
Victoria Jackson, that whole group. But Farley and Sandler and Rock and Myers were all there.
Yeah. So
it was that transitional year.
Yeah. And how did they treat you?
They were all good with me. I mean, like. Listen, I mean, again, like, it was one of those things where, like, I show up and, like, you know, hit your mark, find your lights kind of thing. So when it came
your dad's there?
Yeah, honestly, like, they're pitching more to my dad, really, at that point.
Right.
It's also kind of just, like,
what can the kid do?
Yeah, a little, you know, not so bad, but it's also kind of like, you know, Simon or Sprockets. Right, you know, like Mike Myers, it was like, I can only do one, you know, so it was that kind of stuff a little bit. And then, like, you know, because you do those whatever, like Monday meetings or whatever it is. And then like on Tuesday, they've already written something out, and then Wednesday. You know, like I said, I just showed up but yeah, my father was such a crazy person about like, you know, and then I had to do the whole episode without cue cards.
He wanted you to do it without cue cards.
Yeah. So also that meant every other person in the cast couldn't have cue cards either in any scene that I was in. No cue cards whatsoever.
That was your father's idea.
Yeah. Because he didn't like it when people glanced off and looked at the cue cards kind of thing.
So were you pretty good with the memory or?
I mean, yeah, I didn't miss my lines, man. Like, you know, I totally did it. Like, and
was that out of terror?
Yeah, no. I was just good, man. Like, it's one of those things where I could, like, if I lost my place, I would just picture the page that I was reading off of and just read it.
Oh, you could do that?
I could do that back then.
You got that brain?
Now it's, you know, I'm running the corner to 40. It's a little fuzzy nowadays, you know. Yeah.
And who was the musical guest?
It was David Bowie.
Yeah.
The Tin Machine David Bowie, but David Bowie.
Oh, fucking Tin Machine. Hunt Sales on drums.
Yep.
Tony Sales on bass.
Yep.
I can't remember the guitar player's name, but Hunt Sales is a monster on those fucking drums.
No, it was super cool. And also, I love how it ages me too. It's like it actually makes me sound even older than I was.
Well, Tin Machine's like,
but also just David Bowie, just in general. Makes it sound like I did the show in like 1982.
I don't know. I miss him, man. You know, it's like, I don't know how long. It's one of those things where, you know, I don't know really the last time I checked in with a nude Bowie album before he died. Like, I don't, Heathen or some of the other ones, but it was always nice knowing he was around.
Yeah, right? Exactly. He was a totem. He was like,
and it's just like that Dark Star record is like, is that what it's called? Dark Star or Black Star?
I don't know. I have not picked
great,
it up.
Dude.
Yeah?
Yeah. But did you get to talk to him?
Yeah, he was very sweet to me. I mean, of course, I'm doing a zillion things, and I'm 11. 11 years old, and I have to memorize an entire show. And so, but I just remember him being very like sweet and like jokey with me.
Oh yeah,
like teasing like the kid. And like honestly, I'm 11 years old. I don't know what Ziggy Stardust is from a hole in the wall.
Sure. But I actually think that he was a pretty proper dude.
Yeah.
underneath it all.
Yeah, exactly. It was like more like we met in private kind of thing. Like,
Sure.
And when I'm doing the goodbyes at the end of the show, like he puts his hat on me and then he keeps on pushing it forward so it's falling over my eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do my like goodbyes and he keeps on doing that.
Oh, that's great, man.
But he was super sweet.
Was it good memory?
Yeah, totally. I had a good time. Like, I mean, honestly, it was all like, a lot of a blur. I have a friend who works there now. He does a lot of editing, Edmund, and he said he asked around like with like the old timers, have you ever heard of somebody doing the show without cue cards? Kind of thing. They're like, no, that's insane. That's just completely insane.
Because they keep changing it right up to the wire, right?
Well, exactly. No, and not only that, you also have to. I had to memorize scenes that weren't in the show because you do the dress and all that kind of stuff. Like, and then they cut things.
So why? This was your dad's idea.
Yeah.
And did he like
professionals know their lines? Like,
that was the idea.
Is that kind of idea exactly? Look, yeah, that was.
So you did, so the entire show is acting on the behest of your father to honor this idea. It's not a bad idea, but were you scared or were you just?
No. Honestly, I was always a really fearless kid. I think that was
scared of him though. Like, was he like?
Well, I mean, yeah, do good or I'll hit you. Like, yeah, sure. Like, you know what I mean? But
I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry.
I'm not. Okay. Because by the grace of God, here I am. I wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for
You got to look at it that way after a certain point.
But yeah, no, he wanted me to do it without freaking cue cards.
And you're infamous for a good reason.
Exactly.
Not for falling down or fucking it up.
Exactly.
You did it without cue cards.
Exactly. That's me, kids.
So you said after Richie Rich, you kind of shut down the spigot.
Yep.
And your parents at that point were in the middle of divorce, or they're divorced?
No, they're separating, like, kind of thing. It's more of a child custody thing because they were never married, like even common law.
Right.
So and then I spent all that time pretty much going to high school. Like, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Like a normal person. Yeah. Like, I went there for almost purely social reasons, really.
Sure.
Like, yeah. Like, I wanted to be.
Have other friends than Michael Jackson.
Yeah. I had other friends, too. You cheapen my experience, sir.
You're trying to branch out.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I wanted to like drink 40s and like, get laid and smoke pot. Like, that's what I wanted to do. And that's what I did. I lived
after Richie Rich. Then you
pretty much.
So, but after their separation and after the fight, and I imagine that's where it soured with you and your old man?
No, it was sour from early on, even before the fame stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
So you disliked him all through it?
Yeah, and he disliked me too. Like, we didn't like each other.
Really?
Yeah. But then all of a sudden, imagine this man who you dislike, kind of thing, and he dislikes you. Now I become the sole focus of him when I start earning. So now all of a sudden I'm like, going around the country, like locked in a room with a guy who doesn't like me, kind of thing. But at the same time, like, yeah, it's.
But how does that? Why?
I was kind of even like relatively jealous, I think.
Sure. Oh, he was jealous.
I think so. I everything that he tried to do in his life, like, I excelled at, like, before I was 10 years old.
Right, but he was behind that in some way, right? I mean, he gave you he pushed you into those opportunities.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
So, but I don't understand.
And also, he did the negotiation kind of stuff, but it was also kind of like, I was just I was a better dancer than he ever was. Talented. I was a better actor than he was. Right. I was just better and more successful at those things.
But how did that dislike manifest itself when you're 8 years old? I mean, how do you feel that, going through all that?
He was a bad man. Like, honestly, he was a bad man. He was abusive and, like, physically and mentally. I mean, I can show you all my scars if you want to, but, he was a bad dude, kind of thing.
Just to you?
No, across the board. But I started catching the brunt of it after a while because
you were there with him all the time.
Yeah, exactly. God bless the rest of my family. They would always get these respites whenever I was off doing a gig. They get 3 months off from him. And it would be me locked in. But better me than somebody else. That's what I always say.
And it would just be like well, obviously there's no real provoking, but I mean, just out of nowhere kind of shit, or there was a reason for it. I know you feel that was jealousy, but what would?
Well, I don't necessarily feel that way. This is more of a retrospective kind of.
I mean,
trying to figure it out
sense.
kind of thing. Like,
right. Well, what have you figured out that part of it?
Yeah, I think it was some of that kind of thing, and also, honestly, he was just a bad dude. Like, that's the thing. He was a bad, abusive man. Like, regardless.
To your mother too?
Oh yeah.
Was he a boozy guy?
He could be. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was. He liked his St. Pauli girls.
Oh really?
Yeah.
The old style upscale beer.
Yeah, exactly. What a fancy pants.
Yeah. So,
but he's a piece of work. Yeah.
Yeah. So after Richie Rich and after their separation, you could you know, at least legally and as an adult, not have to deal with him anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was what you did.
Exactly. And I was, you know, I knew I had an inheritance coming. It was
your money,
my money. Exactly. Some kid worked really, really hard, and I'm inheriting all of his money, kind of thing.
But that was interesting because they kind of bent the law or changed. You set a precedent, right? There something happened.
I didn't necessarily get emancipated, but I pretty much took their names off my money as guardianship because
the judge ruled that way.
Yeah. Because, there's the Jackie Coogan laws where X amount has to be put in a trust until you're 18,
right.
That kind of stuff.
But they were doing that anyways,
right? That's the law kind of thing.
Right.
But their names were on it, and so I was able to remove their names from it and get like a family friend on top of it.
Because they were going at each other.
Yeah.
With your money.
Yeah, I mean, no, not really. They had their own money because they were my managers, so they got,
right.
they split 15%, so they were battling, like with their 7.5%. They drained their coffers, doing that stupid shit.
Yeah.
But it was just when it came to that other like kind of just, a certain amount that was liquid, that technically had his name on it.
Yeah.
We're just taking his name off of it. And I also took my mom's name off of it just so like it's a clean break.
Good.
So, So, I was, if I was going to be stupid, I was going to try to be smart about being stupid. That's all.
And you get along with your mom.
Yeah, I do.
That relationship was always okay?
Yeah, that was always good.
Okay. And she knew your dad was a monster.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, believe me, I've had this discussion with her where it's kind of like, oh, if you knew he was such a bad guy, like, why'd you stick around the whole time, kind of thing, like, you know what I mean, like, yeah, like,
well,
you go through that portion of your life where, like, you start kind of just like I started assessing some blame onto her a little bit,
Well, sure, yeah, because it's hard to understand codependency.
Yeah, it's easy for her to be a good guy in a situation like that, compared to just a bad dude kind of thing. So. At the same time, like, no, like, I have nothing but love for my mother, and like, and
your old man's not reached out to you?
No, not really. I mean, he kind of has and all that stuff. I'm not really receptive to it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, it's not like I've shut that door completely or anything like that. But
do you
it's
have
also
resolve in your heart, though?
Yes, no, honestly, I have forgiveness in my heart.
You do?
Like, yeah, no, I've made amends with that whole kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
At the same time, I don't think he's there. So that's why I kind of don't want to like really kind of go there with him a little bit.
You think he'd worm back into you?
No. He's a feeble old man now.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like he's not this big, strong guy. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, no, he's a feeble old man now. So like, yeah, so it wouldn't be about that. Like,
right.
Yeah, no, it'd just be. I don't think he's willing to say the things he's should say, kind of thing.
Right. Appropriately.
Exactly.
He didn't have it in him to do it.
Exactly.
Too self-involved.
And honestly, I don't and this is actually a judgment, I guess. I don't think he deserves it.
Sure.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. If you've made your peace, you don't have to, if he's not willing to do his correctly or at all, fuck
exactly.
it.
You know what I mean? And
you don't owe him his peace.
And exactly. And like I said, it is a judgment because it's like maybe he is, and I'm not giving him that opportunity. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, but at the same time, like, I live a very cool, fun, fruitful life, and like and that's kind of despite him.
Yeah, sure.
And I've come out the other end of that, that rinse cycle, like being this person, and it was despite him.
Sure.
I've done like 3 movies in the last like 12, 15 years. Like, no, I mean, if I really wanted to pursue, like, if I really wanted to show him, I would be pursuing a career in Hollywood kind of thing, and kind of go, look, I can do this without you kind of thing. But it's like, no, I'm doing it despite him. Like,
despite.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. It's like, I'm living, like, my life.
I had it wrong.
Despite.
I'm full of spite, not you. I was projecting. I'm sorry.
There you go.
But no, but that 8 years where you were, getting high and drinking and getting laid and going to high school, and did you ever? Was there a point where you had some sort of breakdown with this shit? Like did you hit a wall, like once you got sort of space?
No, not really. If
That's
anything,
good.
no. Actually, it was liberating. That's really what it was. Yeah, no. I just got to do all the things that I wanted to do, and I got to start molding myself into the person I wanted to be, because I had no real personality, and those are very formative years. Also, like
when you were younger. You mean when
you're a
kid?
teenager?
Oh,
when you're a teenager, like,
sure.
those things are very informative about who you're going to become.
And you had that kid hanging over you, the kid you were on the movies.
Yeah, exactly. That's
people walking up to you holding their face.
That's always there. That's always there, man. It still happens. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just, yeah. Like, and like,
especially now, it's a Christmas movie, right?
You have no idea. It 'tis the season, man. Like, I get it worse in November, December. It's like on like TNT, like on like just like on a repeat kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is my time of year where I really get it.
Yeah. And you're all clean shaven, so you look like him again.
I know, right? Exactly. Like I'm not all fuzzy Pizza Underground guy.
You're out from underground.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you started acting again, I mean, Party Monster, you got good reviews. The movie was liked. It was a good movie.
It's a cult movie.
Yeah.
It's a neat cult movie kind of thing. I think Seth Green's freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
I feel like I lost the contest. Like, you try to steal a scene, and like he kept on stealing every scene. I was like, dang, he's just so freaking good in this. I'm very weird about watching myself, kind of thing. But
sure.
But that honestly, that was a blast. That was the first like film I'd done in like 8 years. I did some theater in London for about a year or so, like leading up to that.
What'd you do?
I was a show called Madame Melville.
Yeah.
Did it in the West End for like 8 months or whatever, and then I did it in New York for no.
You like doing the theater still?
Yeah, no, love it. It's my forum kind of thing.
Do you still do it?
It's been a while. Look, I don't really pursue acting. I haven't done I just did Seth. He just directed a movie called Changeland.
Yeah.
And it was the first gig I had done in like 10 years, acting wise.
Really?
Besides a little like commercial in the UK here and there, like a Japanese thing or something like that. But like a real kind of acting gig, I just don't pursue it. I don't really do it. I mean, I like it. I enjoy it.
What was the part in the Seth Green movie?
You're just like this tour guide kind of dude.
Yeah.
And he, pretty much I play like almost like this drunkard like tour boat captain kind of thing. It was fun. Yeah. My preparation for it was watching Young Guns 1 and 2, and watching Emilio Estevez and Arthur. I watched Arthur.
So, how's that hold up?
It's fantastic. I just showed it to my girlfriend like 2-3 days ago, and like we both wept when Gielgud dies. When Hobson dies.
Sure, man.
I grew up with that movie. Like that movie is actually like my first movie memory.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I've probably watched it 3 times this week.
With that laugh, that goofy laugh.
Oh, just so
Dudley
good.
Moore's goofy laugh.
Oh, and like, Gielgud's so good.
Isn't Liza Minnelli in it?
Yeah, Liza Minnelli. She's so good in it. Like, give me a cop. Where's the cop? What's your name, Chester?
So you don't really chase in the acting. You like doing it. You've got freedom to do what you want, obviously, and now you're going to do a podcast. But what, and you're enjoying your life. But what do you want to do?
I mean, honestly, like I live well, I drink well,
right?
I smoke well.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I want.
So you're kind of okay.
Yeah. My life affords me the opportunities to also do other things also. So like I can paint and I can show.
Yeah.
I don't have a hard time finding a show for that. I can do a parody pizza band for a while.
What was
and
that?
Go on tour. It was the Pizza Underground.
Yeah.
Do you know this at all?
Well, I did a little reading on it. What was it exactly? Was it a genuine musician?
I mean, there were some, but no, not really.
Do you sing or play an instrument?
I played the maracas.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it was Velvet Underground songs just done about pizza. That's really what it was. It's that straight. No, it's one of those things where
Velvet Underground parody band.
Yes,
exactly.
And it's one of those things where it's a joke and you laugh.
Yeah.
And then we keep on like repeating the same joke, so it gets unfunny, and it comes back around again, and then it becomes hysterical.
It's a joke for a very small audience.
Yeah, take a bite of the wild slice.
That's not even a Velvet Underground song.
Yeah. No, I know.
It's a Lou Reed song.
Lou Reed, and we have Lou Reed, and we also do Nico solo kind of things too. We never found a John Cale song to cover, but
right.
But no, we were all actually genuine fans of the band. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we do like all the pizza parties. Instead of
so wait, how
I'll
long
be your
did that
mirrors.
last?
I'm Little Caesar. About longer than it should have. About a year and a half.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was a lark that we did. We did like an open mic thing, and then we did another thing, and then we recorded something in my living room, Max, Kansas City. You're with me on that.
Yeah.
And then just put it online, and then kind of like forgot about it, kind of thing. My friend just put it on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
And then a month later, I woke up with like 40 calls and text messages, and I thought someone died. I really did. And then like all of them were like, "Are you in a pizza band kind of thing, and it blew up. And then we got hired for like a show, and we only had 8 minutes of material. It was like 1 8-minute medley. That's all we had, because you can't do whole songs this way.
Sure.
And so we went to they booked us at this place, Babies, all right, and we met at the bar down the street. And then when we turned the corner there, and this is the dead of winter, this is like 0 degrees outside New York. There's a line 4 people wide around the block, and we're like, whoa,
what the fuck?
Yeah, it was a very, what it is, we kind of hit that hipster strike zone a little bit, you know what I mean? The Brooklyn hipsters freaking loved it, kind of thing. And so then next thing you know, we expand our repertoire, and we did a couple tours. We toured 3 countries, that kind of thing.
Why did it end?
Just because I was a little tired of it, to be completely honest.
Did people like it out there?
No, people loved it. We always sold well. I mean, we always sold out.
Who else was in the band?
It was Dina Vollmer, Austin Killam, Matt Colburn, and Phoebe Kreutz. And there's a couple of people that are actually legitimate musicians on it. Also, Toby Goodshank kind of joined us. But it really was honestly, it was an out of tune guitar and maracas and tambourines. And eventually, we added some keys to it. We added a bass kind of thing. We added some stuff to it. But at the same time, we were a joke parody band. I didn't want people walking away going, "That was a good show." I wanted people walking away going, "I had a lot of fun."
Right.
That's what it was.
And do you have any serious music aspirations?
No, not really. Yeah. I have some ideas for some things, but nothing I kind of pursue. I'm very casual about everything I pursue. So but at the same time, now actually I have a great back catalog of just stuff. Yeah, sure. I have a couple of just art shows that are kind of just sitting around my apartment. Now I have a couple of books that are really just sitting around there and kind of collecting dust. That kind of just need the once over kind of thing. Yeah. But that's the thing. I treat myself like a retired person. Everything I do is a hobby now.
Yeah. You're okay with it.
Yeah.
You like it.
Yeah.
No, you feel like you've accomplished what you need to accomplish publicly.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I never felt a need. Yeah. Kind of thing. Even when I was doing this stuff when I was a kid, I never felt the need to do that kind of thing. I just kind of just did it, and I was good at it. I did enjoy it for a long time, but it was also kind of just,
You feel full.
Yes. No, honestly, I live a very rich, full, silly life. I wouldn't have it any other way.
What's this podcast you're doing?
Oh, so it's called Bunny Ears. It's with my buddy Matt Cohen, and it really is kind of, it's conversational. Occasionally we have guests on, but that's kind of just here and there, kind of a smattering. And it's kind of, I guess, maybe call it a hybrid. But it's just a bunch of dudes. We have a really good repartee, and so it's one of those things where I just listened back to one of the 2 other episodes that we just did. I was like, that's the kind of room I'd want to hang out in.
Sure.
It's that kind of thing. It's just a bunch of dudes kind of just chatting.
Where do you record it? Here?
Both here in LA and in New York.
Not in Paris?
Not in Paris. That would start becoming too pricey. And it's we kind of switch off every month, kind of thing.
Who comes where?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you're all good. There's nothing you're not doing that you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. And if I wanted to do it, I'd be doing it.
Yeah.
So
do you get asked to do parts?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I got approached and all that kind of stuff, and I do give some of those the proper weight. And for the most part, I really, like I said, I like the work. I like what I miss about acting is the summer camp quality. I love doing the work too. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but also I miss the summer camp.
I was hanging out with people.
I'm hanging out with people, and weeks. Don't worry, we're gonna stay in touch forever, kind of thing.
You never talk to them again.
Exactly. Exactly. I like that. I like the camaraderie and all that. That's a part that I miss the most.
Yeah.
I don't miss the work. I love the work, and I think I'm good at it. Actually, I think I've actually gotten better at it as I age.
Did you ever train at all for acting?
Not for acting. No. Kind of just. It really was just. It was charisma and timing. Really was what it was. I know how it is.
That's all you need, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Talent helps.
Yeah, exactly. But timing is also just real timing and also comedic timing.
Sure.
I always had good timing.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
Timing.
Right there. It's close. Yeah, you jumped it, but it's good. It was good talking to you, man.
Good talking to you too, man.
You feel good about it?
No, actually, erase the whole thing. Let's start over.
Really? Yeah. Fuck. All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Talk to you later, man. Thank you.
See, he's doing all right. That Macaulay Culkin, he's all right. Living in France, painting, doing whatever the fuck he wants. It's not a bad gig. He does have that new podcast called Bunny Ears. You can get that wherever you get podcasts. I'm gonna sign out here because I got it. They're sandblasting my house, and that's it's just the way it is today, folks. Just the way it is. Boomer lives.